the one in your hair is just so cute.
I know, it's a bow. I'm wearing that because I know Jeff McKinney's watching. Jeff, we made it to. In all sincerity, Jeff, we made it 200 episodes, and we really appreciate how you've been with us. I'm going to say from the get-go. I'm not sure how far back you've been listening, but it feels like it's been forever, and thank you so much.
Yeah, it feels like forever.
Feels like the first time. But thank you, Jeff.
Was it all bad when we're getting even the same jokes at the same time?
Yeah.
We're like on the same podcast cycle.
You know, this goes to YouTube. And I know kids these days, that's all they do is just watch the YouTube.
That's all they do.
So
we have 2 viewers, by the way, Jeff. Are you in the chat?
Oh, whoa. Jeff Burrows is in the house. Hey.
Jeff Burrows. Yes.
Jeff Burrows. I've got a stinky t-shirt to send you.
Yeah, Burrows, you need to email your address. You can get the Frankie Says Relax strawberry covered beer John Sweat t-shirt.
That's perfect. Oh God. Hey Jeff, thanks for all the Jeffs. Jeff Burrows says that Jeff McKinney is the most important Jeff, and that's true.
Who's that? Oh, we have 3 viewers now. Jeez.
Hello, viewers. What'd you do? Did you send out a link or something?
I hope at least one of them isn't named Jeff.
All the viewers, announce yourselves. So far as I know, Burrows is the only one watching live.
No, we have 3 right now. All right.
The only person announced. All you others watching, let us know who you are. Jump into the chat. If you can't find it, click the button underneath.
Hold on, I gotta get my timing for the beginning here real quick. Just give me a second.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Martin Redmond of Files Wine Blog, and you are listening to We Like Drinking Podcast, a podcast where you never have to drink alone and have some fun. Hit it.
See, I would have missed that hit it if I hadn't done that. Preparation. It's all key.
That's my favorite part of the Martin Redmond intro.
Yep.
There was John, did you hear a tiny glitch in the Martin Redmond intro?
I did.
So yeah, I think it's Eccles internet. Just it didn't seem like anything major, but just if something weird happens, I'm sure Jeff Burrows will tell us.
Yeah. John Rudiak, give me a mic check, would you please?
I don't send checks. I send cash.
All right. Solomon is in good shape. I'm going to tweak you a little bit, though.
Check. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, much better. All right. That's good to go. We got viewers galore. We've got the lights. We've got the show notes. I can't read them from here.
Oh, what about the intro on the show notes? How's that looking?
I think it's good.
All right. Okay. Just let it
you
go.
Can look through it. Look through it if you want to change it.
No. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
Do it live. We'll do it. Well, cheers, fuckers.
Cheers, fuckers.
Martin. Oh, I thought Martin. I wonder if Martin's in there. Martin be happy with what I'm drinking tonight. Jeff will be happy with what I'm drinking tonight. This Jeff is too. All right, here we go. Let's see. Let me ask you guys something. Viewers, I need your chime in on this as well. So for 200 episodes, 299 episodes, we've done the promo, the music, the read-in, the music, and then we start the show. I was thinking about just going with the get right to it today and get rid of the promo. Do you guys like the promo? Or
I like the promo.
you like the promo?
I like the promo, but I also think that there's room to like fudge around. Sometimes there's not the promo. Sometimes it's you or me or John doing a quick blurb, like a 5-second, like, "Hey, really excited about talking about this and that," bleh, you know, or you know, that can also be space, you know, to call people to action.
Call to action. Oh yeah, we gotta love the CTAs. All right, let's do this. I am a couple minutes in on here. We'll do the usual. Here we go.
Burroughs says, "Keep the promo. You have your brand." I agree.
All right, there we have it. I should switch it up so Jeff can hear himself in the promo. Here we go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Martin Redmond of Enophile's Wine Blog, and you are listening to We Like Drinking Podcast, the podcast where you never have to drink alone and have some fun. Hit it.
At the sound of the tone, the official We Like Drinking time will be 5 o'clock. Commence consumption.
Yeah, we're just gonna do that over.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I was trying to talk to you. Jeff Burroughs, I can't remember. Did you serve? Just let Jeff Solomon know.
Are you a veteran, Jeff?
And I'm going to get this started while we're doing that.
All right.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Martin Redmond of Enophile's Wine Blog, and you are listening to We Like Drinking Podcast, the podcast where you never have to drink alone and have some fun. Hit it.
At the sound of the tone, the official We Like Drinking time will be 5 o'clock. Commence consumption.
Thank you for joining us for the award-winning We Like Drinking podcast, episode 200. In this episode, we'll be discussing the WLD effect. It's real, folks. Exploding Corona. And everyone needs to get off our beer lawns because we're 200 episodes old now. So crack open your beers, uncork that wine, get off my lawn, and let's get drinking! Oh, man. I'll tell you what. That opening gets me fired up. Even if I'm having a bad day, that opening gets me ready to go, ready to party like it's episode 1, and we have no idea what we're doing, and nothing much has really changed. But cheers, my podcast drinking friends. We are so happy you have joined us for episode 200 of the only, John Ruyek, what are we? The only 2-time. All right, never mind. Jeff, we're the only
2-time
award-winning topical beer and wine education podcast focusing on fun.
Fun. F-U-N.
Definitely not focused on flow or anything like that. So let's get to this. Folks, if you're listening for the first time, or if you've been listening a long time listener and you haven't taken advantage of it, consider becoming a Patreon of the show. Visit welikedrinking.com/pledge. Find out how you can be a part of the show, how you can get in on all the fun and the action. And there's dogs shaking. There's dogs shaking on the show. That's why we love it. So let's see on episode 200 who we're drinking with tonight. We've got what should we even intro you with from now on, Jeff? I don't think you don't like being called the wine blogger anymore. So
I just feel like a phony.
The sporadically prolific.
Yeah, I like sporadically prolific. It's tough when there's like a well-qualified, award-winning wine blogger watching us live right now. Hello, Jeff Burrows of Food Wine Click. Thank you for watching us live. Yeah, I like wine. Okay,
we've got a guy that likes wine, Jeff Solomon.
That makes me uniquely qualified for this position.
Who has a Hello Kitty button on?
This is true.
We've got our beer brewer, John Ruyak.
Yep, I've got some beers to drink tonight. And there's some particular animals on the bottles.
Good. And I'm your host, Jeff Eccles. So, folks, as I said, we are super excited to have you here tonight. It's a big night for us. It may just be another episode, but those round numbers, those zeros always tend to make you think about everything that you've accomplished since you've started something. So we're going to get into a little bit of that tonight. But first, we got to go to school with Grape Hop or Pop Culture Reference. So this is where I give these guys a term, and they try to tell me if it's a wine grape, a beer hop, or some kind of pop culture reference. The term this week is Satis. So is Satis a wine grape, a beer hop, or a pop culture reference? Oh, we shouldn't be doing this yet. I'm going to let you guys ponder on that for a minute, because 200 episodes in, we don't know what the hell's going on. Solomon.
Yeah.
What you drinking tonight?
Well, I've got a couple things, and it was kind of fun. Eccles saw me pouring one of these things, and he goes, "Wow, you're drinking beer tonight." And I am, for a very specific purpose. I'm going to be the first person to be all sentimental and emotional tonight. So here we go.
Who had that on the odds?
Me? Come on. Yeah. There's no way. So
everybody.
I was thinking back to shit. It was a little over 4 years ago we started this thing.
Yeah.
And I talk about, I'm a formally or sporadically prolific wine blogger. Eccles and I knew each other for a couple of years before this podcast ever started. And we knew each other as just wine bloggers. And after we had Parker, I was not really as prolific anymore because I was busy being a dad. And I remember Eccles gives me this call and he says, "Hey, come on, let's do this podcast. It's going to be awesome." And I'm like, "I don't have to do any work. Like, you're going to do everything. I just have to show up." He's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "And I can lock myself in a room and not have to worry about being a dad for an hour." He's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "I'm fucking in." And so it was great. Like, Eccles is really the seed to this whole thing. And he's the key to this all. He's the giant brain inside of the machine from Ninja Turtles. He's Krang.
He's the straw that stirs the drink.
He's all that in a bag of chips, right? And Eccles is going to get plenty more of his due throughout this. But what I want to talk about is friendship. And I want to talk about how, like, when we started this podcast, it was a little weird for me because I was jumping in with basically 3 dudes that didn't live near me that were really all good friends with each other. I'm talking about, John on the show, and then Jim Myers, who was on the show too, and they all knew each other from hockey. And very quickly, I found myself, you can go back and listen to our first couple episodes. You can go back and listen to our first 100 episodes. I would say we're a lot better today than we were. and so really one of the reasons why I kept coming back was because more than anything else, it's time to really spend and hang out with some folks that I truly really consider to be some of the best friends that I have. And so it's just really awesome being here with y'all. You know, I came onto this show as a wine guy, and what happened was Jim Myers and John Ruyak, they blew my face off in talking about beer in a way that I had never really thought about before. And I found myself drinking more and more beer on the show just because it's cheaper and it's convenient. But there can be so much complexity too. And I think that I would be being dishonest if I came on here saying that I was super excited to bring out this one bottle of wine, because there's a lot of wines that I would love to enjoy, but I don't necessarily think that that's indicative of my journey on this show. And so I've got a couple beers that I'm drinking tonight that I think have kind of like formed that. The first one is that I'm drinking right now. This is the New Beach West Coast IPA from Discretion Brewing. When you read the label and you say, oh, it's from Soquel, California, a lot of folks don't know where that is. Soquel is in Santa Cruz County. It's essentially Santa Cruz. And it's in a can, and y'all have known recently that I've just been really into, you know, hyper local microbrews in cans specifically. And this is just a really nice, tasty treat right here. And I am going to be stepping up to another beer a little bit later. I don't think I want to tell you what it is right now. But I do want to say that this beer was inspired by one John Ruyak. Because I know that a lot of times on this show, like, I talk a lot of shit about this guy, but like, Ruyak is honestly like such a blessing to have on this show. And such a wealth of knowledge. And what's funny is a lot of times we might get into little arguments with each other, but it's because I think we both kind of feel safe in pushing each other's buttons, because, you know, really, I just really love this guy so much. So the second beer that I'm drinking is specifically for John Ruyak, but I'll get into that later. Yeah, that's right. That's right, motherfucker.
Awesome. Good intro there, Jeff. I like it.
Sorry, I hope I didn't talk too much.
That's kind of your thing on the show. So
if Kern and Stub were here, they'd be making fart noises the whole time. So
if Stub could even talk at this point, but John Ruyak.
So what else could I be drinking on a special occasion show? What choice do I really have?
You have none.
I really don't have one. So I did go with a cornucopia of Russian Imperial Stouts. So
you're welcome, listeners.
Well, and they're all room temperature. Isn't that great? Perfect. So the first one I have is the Sierra Nevada Narwhal, and that's
nice.
That's a kind of whale. They don't make smoked whale testicle beers from narwhals.
No,
just thought we'd get that out of the way. Then I've also got a 1050.
Oh,
I also have an Old Rasputin, which also sports a sperm whale up on the neck label.
He said whale.
All right. So
I know
there's some high octane sitting on my desk right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know the 1050 is 10.5. I know the Rasputin is around the same, isn't it? Around 10?
It's 9, and the Narwhal's 10 too.
So is the 10? Because I know y'all have talked about the 1050 a couple times. Is that a Russian Imperial Stout as well?
It is.
Okay.
Quite possibly the best beer in the can ever.
Okay.
It's straight motor oil in a can.
Nice. Oh, hey, so
fake motor oil.
I did want to show you the other thing that I'm drinking just because I thought this was like so wonderful when John starts showing like, hey, this is what I'm drinking. I also got the Rasputin as well. So.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Super stoked.
Awesome. And I had the opportunity to grab myself some H. Blinn champagne. So I took that opportunity. That's all I'm drinking. So check this one out. It's a Blanc de Noir. So it's a white, but it's made with red grapes. No Pinot Noir in this, Jeff Solomon.
All Pinot Meunier? Is that what you're saying?
I am 100%. I don't know if the camera will focus on it, but yes, 100% Meunier grapes going into this one. So wow. I saw that. I don't see that a whole lot out where I'm at. So I jumped at the opportunity to jump on to get that. John Ruyak.
So educate us. Tell us the difference between Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier.
I don't know.
One of them's noir.
Both
of them are. So they're close relatives, right? And so the only grapes allowed in Champagne are Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier. I would assume with the Pinot at the beginning, that means pine. So Pinot Noir is dark pine. Pinot Bianco is a white pine. Pinot Gris is gray. So a lot of the times it's characterizing the skin color. I wonder. Does Meunier isn't a color though, is it?
I don't think so.
Or orange. I've never had 100% Pinot Meunier before, so I've always thought of it as just a blending grape in there. And I'm sure Burroughs is going to share this with Kralik, and then Kralik's going to rip us all later.
And Valerie Caruso is screaming at her phone right now.
It's pronounced.
But yeah, really, it has quite a bit more body than I'm usually used to. But a lot of green apple, really tasty. Really enjoying this 12.5 champagne. So now back to Grape Hopper Pop, John Ruyak.
What?
So the last time we were in Grape Hopper Pop Culture Reference, we left off with the kids trying to figure out if Satis was a wine grape, a beer hop, or a pop culture reference.
All right. One of the kids wanted to ask, how do you spell that?
SATUS, no umlauts.
Satis. It sounds like some sort of demonic organic vegetable sandwich crap. So I'm like Satan, you know what? It's episode 200.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it's a pop culture reference.
All right.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
So
Jeff Solomon.
First of all, I do want to say that not only is Jeff Burroughs watching live, but Dimitri is watching live as well. And Dimitri says, congrats on episode 200. And Burroughs says, a lot of times people just refer to it as Meunier now and don't even include the Pinot anymore. And he wasn't sure if they're related or not. Gentlemen, if you could also put your guesses in the chat, that'd be awesome. I swear to you, Eccles, it's like 2 weeks in a row. I swear you're bringing up terms that you've brought up before because
it's very powerful. Like there was one point today where I'm like, I have to kill this segment because I'm out of shit to talk about.
Because I keep getting the same jokes going into my head, like, could it be Satas? That's jumping in there. Gosh, and like the worst part is, I'm certain this is ladies and gentlemen, please just go back, listen to like episode 73. And if it's not there, either download what's after or what's before it. Eventually you'll get to it. But the thing is, like, I never remember, like, when you double back, I never remember what it was. I'm gonna go with my gut here, and I'm gonna say that Satis is a Greek white wine grape.
Okay. All right. So before we go any further, did Dimitri or Jeff Burrows give their thoughts?
My goodness. Burrows is saying it has something to do with like traffic improvement on the streets of Mumbai, India, or something. I'm not certain. And Dimitri says that it's a pop culture reference.
Okay. All right. So everybody is getting their votes in. Satis is in fact, I mean, episode 200, it really should be everybody goes over on it. And because Satis is a beer hop.
No.
Oh, come on.
An American hop with an aroma similar to Galena, and it has an alpha range of 12.5 to 14.5. Satis.
Dimitri thought it was a weird new fetish, and by that laugh that Eccles just had, maybe it is.
Maybe it was. Okay. So Jeff got into it a little while ago, reminiscing on the show or giving some thoughts on it. So I thought I would take my opportunity here before we get into booze news, and then John can file in afterwards. But
sure.
Jeff, you did bring up some good points. But here, the funny thing is, even 200 episodes in, and even though he left us a long time ago, I sure do miss having Jim on the show. I miss the anger but he brought a lot of knowledge to the show, and he brought a lot of different angles to it. And I mean, the only person I know that would gladly stab Chewbacca in the heart with a broken hockey stick or whatever.
Yeah.
But to kind of what you brought up, Jeff, it really has been amazing how deep this friendship that is developed between all of us has come. First time I met Jeff, stayed at his house for the weekend, made him throw up on the side of his house.
Forgot about that.
So we got to go to the Wine Bloggers Conference together. I've gotten to go to the Great American Beer Festival with Jim. I got to see him there. Brewed beer with John. This has just been a great time with you guys. But even beyond that, what has the podcast done for us is just the amazing people that we've gotten to meet and talk to. Jeff Burrows, is watching. Dimitri through Patreon. The list just goes on and on. Kern and Stubb and Madeline Puckett and Elizabeth Schneider and some of the brewers that we've had on, Chris Wright out at Pikes Peak. I mean, it's just been amazing, the people that we've gotten to talk to and just find this commonality that we all have in that. Yeah, these are drinks that we drink to get a little buzz, but how freaking grapes and hops have built this community that we get to share is it's just amazing. And it's just something that I look forward to each and every week. No matter how bad a day I may have on Wednesdays, it's always lightens my life a little bit getting to hang out with you guys. So I really do appreciate you guys sticking with us for this long, 200 almost straight weeks of doing this. And my God, thank you to our wives.
Oh my goodness.
Hells yes.
This absolute nonsense that we do. Marcy, Kara, we just can't, John's wife, Sharon, we just can't thank you ladies enough for letting us do this. So thank you, ladies. But now let's get into
What?
what?
I don't get to share my.
You get all sentimental later. You need to drink more.
Yeah, we got to let all those Russian Imperial stouts kick in. So I mean, we want some Norwal tears coming down, streaming down the face by the time we get.
I'm a little upset already that you guys want to move on to another segment. All right, let's just go do the fucking news.
You are rude, sir. You are rude. Take your microphone away. All right. A Corona. Good.
Wow.
The silence. Great.
I think it was on a catamaran in Costa Rica. This was maybe 3 years ago. I mean, honestly,
it was possible. It was just I was at a house party and that was the only option. I'm not going to drink water. Come on.
This was published a couple days ago. This is in the New York Post. Man injured by exploding Corona beer bottle. Quote, it's like they are selling glass hand grenades. So this is apparently the third instance of this happening that's been reported where just this gentleman was coming home with a case of Corona and all of a sudden he heard a pop and felt like somebody had shot his leg off and looked down and a bottle of Corona had exploded and peppered his leg with glass shards. He screamed for his partner to come out and he passed out a little bit. Blood everywhere. His partner came out and got the glass out, and then they went back inside. Apparently, he was like, "Well, I still got a drink." They didn't go to a hospital or anything like that. So eventually, it started to swell and maybe fester a little bit, and so they went in and they found out that they had missed some glass, and so they got the rest of the glass out. But there's been people that work in bars that have lost their eyesight because of exploding Corona bottles. A couple of people have had it explode in their face. And of course, Corona is saying, we test everything to the highest caliber possible. But I found this somewhat interesting. Wanted to get your guys' take on this scenario, Jeff Solomon.
First of all, Jeff Burrows almost made me laugh over what you were saying. He said, it's been a while, but I love Corona with a slice of lime. Hot summer refreshment. Hand grenade or not. I'm wondering if this is something that they can trace back to like lot numbers or like brew by dates to see if there was like a particular batch that is more likely to be explosive. The thing that I'm also wondering about, and I think that our professional brewer could help us with this a little bit, is I'm just thinking about how Corona is in a clear bottle, and I'm just wondering whether the impact of light and the greenhouse effect inside of the bottle has a subtle impact on temperature, which might have an impact on pressure, which might make things a little bit more volatile. That's just me like dicking around, pretending to be scientific. I will say this. I've never heard of don't they sell like brown bottled Coronas at some places, like a 32-ounce brown bottle Corona? I swear I've seen one before. Yeah, like in Mexico, I think I saw that.
Yeah, you can find them here too.
Those ones don't explode.
But that's like an atom bomb if it would, right?
Oh my God, yeah. That would be something that I would wonder. Clear bottles are ridiculous to begin with, but I just wonder if this might be the thing to where Corona says, you know what, maybe we don't make skunky beer in a clear bottle, especially if they're gonna kill our customers. Or maybe this is just the Darwin Awards just acting out, like you buy a Corona, that's what you get.
I think like the first question I had when I read this was, because it said he was carrying a 24 pack. I'm like, 24 bottles, like not in cardboard? Like, how was he carrying this? I mean, I would expect that if it blew up in a case, that cardboard would really slow down a lot of that broken glass. But anyway, I'm just curious, a big corporation like this, are they going on the cheap on the glass possibly a little bit? Or I know Corona's moving to cans. Maybe this is just kind of like, this should really be a signal to everyone that cans are better.
And to bring it back to what's in your glass right now, Jeff Eccles, Jeff Burrows was letting me know that in the old Champagne days, they would wear iron helmets in the cellars because the bottles could explode. So just think about that.
For all the barbacks out there, get some chain mail or some welding masks.
I'd like my Corona with a lime and a linebacker's helmet.
Your thoughts?
So I've got a story that's similar to that. Then I'll tell you what I think's going on. So you were at my house brewing beer once or twice, right? In Colorado Springs.
Yes, sir.
So in the back of the garage, there was a tool shelf, and a couple of brews before maybe you came over, I had some leftover wort that didn't fit into the fermenter. I wanted a certain amount of space, and I had a fair amount of wort left over. So, you know what? I'll use this as guile. And guile is just sterilized wort with no yeast in it that you add back to the beer to naturally carbonate it instead of dosing it with sugar. So that's the way it was particularly done in Germany to charge the beer to be put in kegs so it would ferment and carbonate the beer. Anyway, so I stoppered this growler, a brown glass growler with a rubber stopper, and I just stoppered it up. And I said, "Oh, it's only going to be a couple of weeks, and it's like springtime, but you know how things happen." I just kind of forgot about it, and it kind of worked its way to the back of the tool bench and behind stuff and behind more stuff and behind more stuff. And it's, and Sharon's like, I saw there was something out there that it was like beer in it. And I said, yeah, it's beer in it. Well, something's going to happen to that. It's not going to be good. And then you're going to be in trouble. And, finally she stops telling me about it. I forget about it. And I'm upstairs taking care of business, right? Reading the newspaper, and I'm, getting away from it for a little bit.
Just TCBing. That's what I say.
Right. And all of a sudden I hear a tenth of a second later, John, you're gonna have to go out there and clean that shit up.
You're like, and
I'm sitting in my office, and your head just goes, yeah, just kind of sinks, your chin sinks to its chest, and you're like, fuck. Well, I clear off my office docket, and I go down to the garage, and geez, oh whiz, it's a good thing there was nobody out there, because there's glass everywhere, and just this stinky old beer wort that was in there for a good 8-9 months. And it's a garage in Colorado Springs. It gets, you can't keep good beer in it. You certainly can't keep homebrewed beer in it either. But a couple months after that, Ryan, my youngest, and I were changing light bulbs out in the garage, and there was a shard of glass jammed up underneath in between the housing of the fluorescent bulb and the bulb itself that was easily half the size of my palm and razor sharp. Just got everywhere.
So when you sold your house, that had to be in like the disclosures. Like, Dude used to store Guile. You know, the Guile thing makes me think of Street Fighter 2. And like, I'm just wondering if like it did go, it went Sonic Boom.
Anyway, what I think happened with them is two things. Yeah, I think something with the glass. Most beer bottles are rated for just short of 3 volumes. We've talked about volumes of CO2 in beer. So most beer bottles are rated up to just short of 3, like 2.8. Otherwise, it has to go to thicker stuff like you'd see in a champagne bottle's thicker, because champagne can generate up to 3 volumes in the method Champenois. But I think the other thing that happened is something happened with a filter, and they put their beer through a filter and it takes all the yeast out. So I think something happened with their beer filtering system, and some yeast got into the bottles and started eating the rest of the sugar that's in there, and did a secondary fermentation and caused that problem. Plus probably some shoddy, product review on the or whatever on the bottles. So that's probably what happened.
Interesting. Okay.
But yeah, I'm sure people have been seriously injured by that. It's no joke.
Oh no,
no joke. But this is our podcast, so broken glass everywhere, Corona on the street, and I just don't care.
Oh. So buy cans, people. I think that's the big takeaway is move to cans. All right, let's see. Let me take a look at where we're at with time.
Yeah, I think we need to. Yeah.
You think we need to talk about? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, do you want to take this one, or do you?
No.
It's host night.
Yeah, apparently so. So I'm not going to go into a ton on the article because it's been like 2 weeks since I've read it. Because consummate professionals when it comes to presenting on the show. But Constellation, the mega wine distributor, they have come out recently and said that they are going to start selling off some of their lower priced wine. They're still going to keep their high value wines, but they're going to start selling off some of the lower end stuff in order to shift to cannabis and craft beer to increase those in their portfolio. You'd recognize some of that. I think like Claude de Blois was one of them.
Claude de Bois.
Yeah,
but the real one that just like hurt my soul. They're selling off Arbor Mist.
So a lot of people like kind of freaked out about this article in that, because Constellation, here's one thing about Constellation. They have been excellent at kind of reading the tea leaves at where markets are going. They've done a really good job, and they've made acquisitions ahead of curves. And so a lot of people were freaking out about this, saying like, is this really is wine in trouble, and it's going to be overtaken by cannabis and craft beer? And so that was kind of really where I wanted to go with this discussion is, what are your thoughts on this, and what is the overall your take on the overall projection of wine, cannabis, and beer, craft beer specifically? So John, let's start with you.
Well, the whole cannabis thing, boy, I'm not sure. There's still a long way to go before that's legal in the majority of the United States and the world, for that matter. So, I can see wanting to get a toehold on some of that stuff. Maybe it's the the growth stock of the future that's just going to go gangbusters. But that's still really, honestly, 8-10 years down the road before that's a mass market.
Well, and they picked up a big portion of Canadian grower, I think it was, because Canada just basically legalized it.
Well, sure. And the Toronto Maple Leafs changed the logo on their jersey, right? But Canada's only got 35 million people. That's less than the entire state of California, less than the entire state of Texas. So I'm not, maybe that's an entree move if you ask me. As far as the other stuff, they dumped, you say, the lower brands.
They haven't done it yet, but they're putting them up for sale basically.
But yet they see a shift in people are moving from crap wine to better wine, right? So I mean, and that's why they're the whole craft beer movement, I think, is opening up people, because these things go in sine waves relative to starting with craft beer, and then they move to alcohol or wine. So I think people are moving to, knowledgeable drinkers, knowledgeable millennials and zennials, and younger people in general want to spend their money on higher quality product.
Excellent. Good observation, John. Jeff Solomon?
Yeah, I think gosh, I might look at this in a couple of ways. If I were in the wine industry, like if I owned a vineyard, I think that my take on what's happening might be different as opposed to if I'm just a wine consumer, right? Because, I've never felt like I've been struggling for like options in terms of like, different wines that were available to me, like whatever I wanted to try, it's been there, So, I think the average wine consumer, I don't think that they're ever going to have to worry about that. There will always be wine for you, and there will always be high quality wine for you. Like, I don't think you're ever going to have to worry about that. I think what you are going to find is that maybe some of the entry level brands start kind of maybe they start kind of like thinning out just a little bit, because I think it's a lot of that, just here's these grapes that are this cash crop in the Central Valley that we can put into a boatload of different bottles and sell for, a nice profit. But if I own that land already and I wanted to turn it over to cannabis in a place where it was legal, and I see that I could make more money, I don't see why I wouldn't do that as well. But as long as there is a demand in these United States of America, there will always be a supply. So, wine drinkers, if you're afraid because of this move by Constellation, if you're afraid that all of a sudden you're not going to have any wine options anymore, like I'm not going to be able to drink what I want anymore, start buying more wine and using your dollars to let folks know. Maybe start a podcast and talk about how much you like wine, and then all of a sudden everything just opens up. When you start a podcast and you talk about something, a couple weeks later, everything changes. That's what I've learned along this journey. But like the other thing is, I really do think now that I live in a state where cannabis is legal, what I'm really seeing is that, people who smoke weed still smoke weed. They just don't get arrested for it now. Right. People that are really into wine or really into beer that aren't into weed, they're fine. And then there is a crossover crowd. The weed smokers that also liked beer and wine, nothing's changed for them. The beer and wine drinkers that wanted to explore inexpensive, safe, recreational marijuana, they can do it now. And they might dabble in that, but they're not going to go away from the things that they like. So, big move for Constellation. Kudos. You're a multi-cajillion dollar company, and you're going to make more multi-cajillions based on that. Congratulations.
Yeah, I really don't have anything to add. Like, you guys really covered my two topic. Like, I have it written down here. Like, 2 topic points. You guys covered them both. So well done.
You're fantastic.
Yeah, you guys read my mind. So good job.
Hey, what about Coppola now selling like ultra specific terroir related marijuana? How do you feel about that?
I don't care. Like that's cool. I mean, that's super cool. If you're into cannabis, that was probably a really cool thing that you could really go deep into.
It's cool. Less than 1/8 of an ounce for $90 just because it comes in a fancy package.
No, I mean that they're exploring their terroir. I mean, that is
certainly
a cool idea.
And it does come in a neat looking tin and a collector's pipe. And apparently it is really fancy.
I only want it if it comes from a compost pile in Woody Harrelson's backyard.
I think what's your favorite Coppola movie? Didn't he do didn't he do that the war movie? No, that was the other guy.
That was the other guy.
And still illegal. Dimitri's chiming in saying it's still illegal under federal law.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what's weird too, is like, you know, if you buy your legal marijuana in Nevada and then try to drive it into California, bad idea.
Well, and that it's cash only, because no banks will take the credit card transactions because it's a federal crime. So it's gotta be definitely business. Just all kinds of fun stuff in that.
All kinds of fun stuff.
All right, good stuff, guy. All right, John. How many Russian Imperial stouts have you had?
1 2/3.
1 2/3. All right. Yeah, we're gonna hold off a minute. We'll wait till you go.
I'm sorry. Burroughs just said something funny. He said, when pressed, a family member in Minnesota once said she would sooner try legal marijuana before she gets a family tattoo. So.
Like what's the standard there? What's the Burroughs crest, and where do they have to get it?
It's got to be awesome.
That goes against the #1 rule about tattoos. You never get a tattoo with a name in it, even if it's your own.
No, the crest, the Burroughs crest. You know, it's like a camera, the wine glass, and I don't know. Okay, so. We are recording this on November 7th of 2018. So this is the last episode we will record before Veterans Day, which is this weekend, this Sunday, observed on Monday. And I just wanted to take a minute to just really put out a huge thank you to all our veterans out there. I know I'm going to name some names here, and I know I'm going to miss a ton of you, and I apologize for that. But we've worked with a lot of veterans on our show. Jeff Burroughs is watching. Jeff Burroughs was in the Navy. Valerie Caruso from the Wine 25 podcast. Stubb, who was on the frickin' Gong Show of an episode last week, but Stubb and his wife, as he calls her, the Rib, they both served. My wife Marcy is a veteran. Chris Wright out at Pikes Peak Brewery, who we had on the show. All of those folks have served our country at one point in their lives, and so many people that we work with and interact with on a daily basis are veterans. And we have this day every year to thank them. And the thing about the veterans is they are the last people that they want to hear us go up and tell them thank you. But if you know a veteran, if you have a veteran, if you're in your life, if you work with a veteran, take a minute just to say thank you to them for serving us, for protecting our freedoms, and just for putting themselves on the line for our country. It's a huge sacrifice that they go through, and it really is. I cannot thank them enough for what they have done for us. And if you know a veteran, buy him a beer, buy him a glass of wine, tell him thank you. they won't want you to, but do it anyway. Shake their hand. And to all our veterans listening to the show, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to raise this glass, and every once in a while, I also like to thank all the family members of veterans too, because we know it's a rough thing to watch your loved ones come and go as well. So happy Veterans Day, everybody.
I stop and watch every single one of those veteran returns to their dog videos, and I cry every single
time.
I was Jeff, I was with you like last Veterans Day too. It was at the Wine Bloggers Conference. That was yeah.
Yep. Okay, John Ruyak.
Yeah.
You may, if you have anything to say to us for episode 200, other than it, and if you're going to just flip us off, then at least express it verbally, because this is a podcast, if you didn't know.
Let me take a sip of my
good.
This beautiful North Coast Old Rasputin Russian Imperial Stout.
Wow. 200 episodes.
John, you have gone through the most changes, I think, of anybody else on the show. Like, you've lived in a different country, 2 states.
Yeah, it's so interesting to think about. We played hockey together, Jeff, for what, 4 or 5 years? But did we know each other that well during that time? Not really.
Mm-mm.
We hung out once a week. We drank beer. We went to Old Chicago and watched more hockey on TV, and then we went home. But the older you get, the more valuable friendships become, and you think about the relationships you had in the past with, and it's important for guys to have friends. I mean, everybody acknowledges that women have their girlfriends, but it's really important for men to have good friends too. And the fact that I get to hang out with my 2 friends every Wednesday, or mostly Wednesdays, sometimes Tuesdays, occasionally Thursdays, even Sunday afternoons at times. It's just so cool. And we've seen the evolution of this with our wives too, because at first I'm sure there was some pushback, taking away from family time and things like that. And now it's like, Sharon's like, what are you guys talking about on the podcast tonight? You have a guest? Go have fun, but don't make too much noise, because I'm trying to sleep down the hall. So, I got to thank, first of all, Jeff, for all the hard work that he puts in.
Good job, Solomon.
You Eccles, every single week.
I was going to say I am the best, but proceed.
But the guests we've had on the show, but for my wife to be supportive of this at this point it means a whole lot. And just to hang out with you guys, it just it's funny because we talked during the week on our GroupMe app, and just back and forth football stuff or general nonsense, or we even get into discussions every now and then on Facebook and things like that. But we are always talking throughout the week, and this is the culmination of that. It's Wednesdays, trying to grab hold of all the the disjointed comments that we've made throughout the week, and then come in and make sense of all that, and to produce a show that we enjoy doing on a regular basis. And some of them work out better than others, and that's fine. And sometimes we drink more beer or wine than we should, and that's fine too. It just, there's a couple of, I love my work. I love brewing beer. How important my field herpetology stuff is to me, but this is right up there. This is what helps make me. And I do this show with you 2 guys And then the people at work, you're wearing, and every day we do a podcast, I wear this shirt to work. So everybody knows I'm doing the podcast that night. And they're like, what are you talking about? So it's, I get a lot of support, not just from my wife and not just from you guys, but the people I see, and the people I talk to throughout the week, how's the podcast going? So it's there's just so many things in my life that it touches and I think about, is this going to be good for the show? And so it's just neat. I don't know. I'm getting the feels. I got to stop.
Excellent. All right, I gotta say, I've gotten some offline messages about the show from our anonymous viewer, who says drinking out of the correct glass always reminds me of Jim. So yeah, Jim was always kind of a stickler of the glasses. And as John started talking, I got grab the Kleenex. So thank you, anonymous viewer. We appreciate those fine words. Okay, Jeff Solomon.
Oh man, I'm excited. Okay,
let's get into.
Wait a minute.
I'll get it right this time. I swear.
What, John?
Bum 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 bum.
Okay,
bum bum. Bum, bum, bum.
All right, that's enough. Okay, we're breaking ground here this week. So Jeff Solomon,
this is an extra special fantasy football update because this is real time. I believe our trade deadline in the We Like Drinking Fantasy Football League. And please, those of you that are jealous that you're not in this year, come holler. Where were you in the off season when I was trying to put this thing together? Come join. We love interacting with all of our friends, our listeners, our buddies. It's just another way to just have fun and compete together in real time because the trade deadline is coming up soon. Oh, this is so wonderful. Jeremy from the Felton Covered Bridge sends out a message to everybody in the league. He says, hey, I'm making Andrew Luck available for a trade. Make me an offer. And I responded with, no. Also, good luck with that. And then Dimitri says, I don't trade guys I fired. And then Natalie says, same, laughing, crying emoji. Everybody's laughing. And then right as we were about to get on air, an alert comes in because apparently Ryan Hannigan and Jeremy from the Felton Covered Bridge have agreed to a trade. I promised the fellas that I was not going to look at it until right now, live on air. We are going to look at this trade. And as the commissioner, I have the sole authority to approve or veto the trade.
Right.
So here we go. This is how I do this. All right. Pending transaction. Pending trade between Fermented Soup, which I think that's Ryan Hannigan. That's Glitter Beer. You're not supposed to change your name mid-season, dude. That's why I locked you last year. And Jeremy from Under the Bridge. So let's take a look here. Fermented Soup acquires Andrew Luck and T.Y. Hilton. So they're teammates. He's looking for the double dagger for Phillip Rivers and Keenan Allen.
Ooh,
teammates.
I was
going for the double dagger. So here's the thing. You know what? If you look at season totals, it's crazy because Andrew Luck has had the better statistical season. But if you look at his average yards per completion, it's 4. He's just dink and dunk all day long, But
West Coast offense in Indianapolis.
Hey man, super efficient. And Andrew Luck did go to Stanford, so I wonder where he learned that. And Ty is really more of a deep threat type of player, boom or bust, and he's had some injuries this year. Rivers and Keenan Allen are two solid dudes. I'm going to take a moment just to look at their projected totals for the rest of the season. And
What
yeah,
are you
just
looking for here?
what's that? Well,
What are you looking for here?
well,
It seems
honestly,
pretty decent. I mean, this seems like I don't see any.
here's the thing. You know what this is? This is what we call a challenge trade, where it's really like no joke. I think it's a pretty fair trade.
Yeah.
I think that Jeremy is totally making out with the better end of the deal. It's a more diverse, more explosive offense.
I agree.
Keenan Allen is just more of a talent than T.Y. Hilton would ever hope to be. You got Phillip Rivers on the downswing of his career, but this ain't a keeper league. This is like, a rental for the next couple of weeks. I am going to allow this trade, and congratulations, Jeremy from under the bridge. Your playoff hopes are alive. And Ryan, wow. Sorry, bro. You lost out, dude. Oh. I am voting, and I need to double check. There was a little pop-up thing. Yes, I'm allowing this trade. All right. Congratulations, everybody.
Congratulations, everybody.
Congratulations. By the way, Eccles still in first place. Smoked Whale Testicles in third.
Yeah, only
And I am
points, even record with Smoking Bulls.
I'm only a half game ahead of those two.
And I am in sixth place. I am on the bubble. Ruyak, I have more points than you. I just want to remind you of that. And honestly, Eccles, I'm right behind you by like 15 points. So,
oh, you really? So you're
yeah,
three in points.
Yeah, I'm up there. I'm up there. Yeah. I'm 4 in points.
Whoever's beating.
It's Smoking Bowls has the most.
Yep.
Then you, and you're 3 above Stuck in the Airport, which is Dimitri. Ooh. Hello, Dimitri. And then I am 4th in points, which means nothing.
Nothing. And you'll probably pass me this week because these last 3 weeks are brutal for me. All right, let's move on because everybody is.
I'm up against the Holy Pope this week, and I'm gonna lose.
Yeah, he beat me. Guy hasn't turned in a single lineup all week. He had 2 people on the bench and beat me. Well, if we're done with fantasy football, a lot of people are thankful because it's
last call.
Last call.
Time to clean house and lock the doors, folks. You know what we do here. We've done this 200 times, and for real. Follow us, interact with us, and help us. We need it all. Some of the thing, quickly, gentlemen, Jeff Solomon, John Ruyak, because you're so good at it. Where can the people find us on the socials?
Okay, there's We Like Drinking on Facebook. There's We Like Drinking the Tavern on Facebook. That's where to hang out, folks. Hang out in the tavern. We Like Drinking 1 on the Twitters. We Like Drinking on Instagram.
Yep. If you're going to choose one, I would say the tavern. But we need some support on Instagram, so go find us there. Jeff Solomon, if the folks have an opinion on the show, where can they go tell people about it?
You're listening to us right now on your phone. Stop what you're doing. You don't even have to pause. Just look at your phone for once in your life. And scroll down to where you can rate us in your favorite podcast catching app. We would love to get a 5 out of 5, but seriously, if you gave us a 4 with some pithy information as to why, we take that shiz to heart and we apply it to the show and we make it better. That's why we love Doug Trapasso so much. I'm hoping one day to change his 4 to a 5 because that's the next thing you're supposed to do, Doug Trapasso, is change your 4 to a 5. Yeah, we just really appreciate those ratings and reviews wherever you catch us, which is probably most likely on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, and here's the thing about the Apple Podcast. That is where we go for the reviews. It may not be where you listen to the show, but that's where we go to look for ratings and reviews. It's just kind of an industry standard. We have 39 ratings and reviews there. We need that number higher. Like, this is my 200th episode all the call to actions are coming out. If you're listening to the show, if you're watching the show and you have not left us a review on Apple Podcast, go download the iTunes install, find We Like Drinking, give us a 5-star review, leave us a little sentence, and then uninstall it and you're done. We'd love the help. We would love to hear what you have to say about the show. Please, please, please go do that. After you've done that and your wallet's feeling a little fat, we would love the help on the program that we call Patreon. If you haven't heard of it, this is a crowdsourcing website where you can give us money on a monthly recurring basis. Oh, the 1050 is coming up. Dimitri, I really do hope that you subscribe to the Patreon feed, because 3 Russian Imperial Stouts in, and there's definitely an after party coming tonight. Shit is gonna get wicked smart. But back to the Patreon. I've talked about it a lot, so I'm not going to talk about it, about all the benefits you can get from it, but there's a ton of them. Just if you've ever considered it, now is the time. Make November, make Movember, make it Drinking November. And
make it Showvember, as in show us the dollar.
Support the show by visiting welikedrinking.com/pledge. You can find out $1 a month. $1 a month is a great way to start. And here's the thing. Everybody that's ever started off as $1 a month has always upped it eventually because they've liked those perks. So check it out. Oh my God, that looks like a milkshake, Ruyak. welikedrinking.com/pledge. We would love to have your support there. I also got another message. I gotta read this from so the other viewer is my mom. Hi, Annette.
Hi, Annette.
So my mom is big into quilting now. And what was her last text? This was so cute. She said, all I talk to people about now is We Like Drinking podcast and Quilts of Valor. Quilts of Valor is a really, really cool program where people make quilts and donate them to veterans. And my mom did one for Marcy, and it's just a beautiful quilt, and there's lots of tears and everything else when they presented them. So thank you for that.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's really
couple of Russian Imperial Stouts in, and we're getting all kinds of emotional.
Well, if John's getting emotional, it must be time for Wait, Who Subscribed, where I take a quote from someone fictional or non-fictional and make this episode go even longer. All right, so here we go with this quote this week. I gotta tell you what, this one was almost as hard as episode 100. I don't know what it is about these big shows, but I want to try to find like the perfect quote for it. And this one isn't at all. I think I'm getting over it because I stopped giving a shit about 15 minutes after I started looking. And so here's what we ended up with. I really wanted something good, and this is what you get anyway. So here we go. Twisting everything around that you say, yeah, smack me in my mouth 200 times every other day. Rag me. I don't hear you anymore. Not yet. Find out what it means to me. I don't know who you are. Like, I was going to try to do it more like the song, but that's completely not possible.
Is this a movie quote or is this a song quote?
This is from a song.
Can you do that one more time?
Yeah. Here. Twisting everything round that you say, yeah, smack me in my mouth 200 times every other day. Rag me. I don't hear you anymore. Not yet. Find out what it means to me. I don't know who you are.
Oh, you know what's funny?
At first, it sounds like some rambling from Brad Pitt from 12 Monkeys, but obviously it's a song.
God, like I swear, like this was some band that they had. Yes, that's right. They were a rock band.
Yes.
Yeah. Early 2000s.
Yes.
And this is where I'm blanking on it because they were a straight up like one-hit wonder.
No,
they're a one-hit wonder.
Okay.
At least you know, in flyover country, I'm sure there's like hardcore bands. But it was something like, was Mud in the name of the band?
Puddle of Mud?
It's not Puddle of Mud, but that's a good. You're in the ballpark. I'll say that.
Okay, it's like some guy with like blonde hair, right? Like it's like a shitty face and attitude.
Smack me in my mouth 200 times a day.
What were they? What's their name?
Nickelback.
No, it's not Nickelback.
Godsmack.
That's Godsmack. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So not a one-hit wonder.
Not
still,
a one.
Still shitty.
Okay. You can also find the show notes for this episode with all the links to the stories or mentions we had at welikedrinking.com/podcast. Or if you're on your phone, swipe right. Get ready, Patreons. Shit's gonna get weird. But we've reached the time where I get to say, okay, panel, let's take one last trip around this table and get some final thoughts before we shut off the lights. John Ruyak.
3 Russian Imperial Stouts, and my lips are sticky.
Jeff Sullivan.
Throw us some scratch and you can listen to the after party.
Well, after that, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Yes, that's awesome.
Literally, my face fucking fell off.
And I will just say, we've thanked a lot of people this episode, but the one group that I wanted to save the best for last to thank, and that is you, person that is listening to the show right now, driving in your car, sitting in your office, or watching on YouTube, Jeff. Thank you so much for coming on this journey with us. It fuels our drinking souls, if you will.
It fuels our bad habits
and drains our wallets. But thank you so much for joining us every week on this show. It means the world to us that people actually tune in to listen to us yammer on. Sometimes slur our words on and say a lot.
I don't remember any of that ever happening.
So thank you. Continue to spread the word. Continue to join us each and every week, and we will be here with you each and every GD week. And with that, I will say thanks again for joining us at the We Like Drinking podcast,
where you'll never drink alone.
Hey, where's my session Merlot?
Viewers, Dimitri, Jeff, and Annette, thank you so much for joining us and sticking the whole time through. That's pretty impressive.
And Jeff McKinney, thanks again. We gotta open and close every show.
To the big JM.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, guys.